You good now?
For the most part.
Oh, yeah, me too. For the most part. Fucking got nothing to do and all day to do it.
Right?
Yeah. I was working on this thing. It's a formula.
Yeah.
Oh, did I lose you?
No?
Okay, sorry. It goes e to the I pi plus 1 equals 0.
Right.
It's called Euler's formula, or it's called Euler's identity. And it's like the most famous thing out in math, like almost. It's like the most perfect thing. It's so funny that like e to the I pi powered, if you add 1 to it, it's equal to 0. It's like, how does that even seem possible? You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those mathematical things that's just unbelievable. And E is a number that's like pi. Like it's a non-repeating decimal that goes on forever. And it has, what's unique about it is it has a rate of change. Its rate of change component is 1. It's like the only number that has the rate of change of 1. And so the dude who came up with this is just a freaking genius, you know what I'm saying? So then it got me to thinking, it's like, did he make that or did he discover it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it makes you think about like God and stuff or a creator, not God necessarily, but are we just so good at describing stuff with math? Or is all that shit already there and we just keep discovering it and someone already created it, like a higher power, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's there. I mean, like, here's an example more simple. If you mix yellow and red, you get orange. It was there, but it took someone just the time when he did it to find orange.
Yeah, so somebody already, some higher being, like, or creator, like, already laid this shit out, and we're just discovering it.
Wherever everything came from before man, that's who did it.
Yeah, it's not like, so it makes you think there has to be some kind of creator or some kind of master universe creator. It's like the ultimate paradox of like...
Well, if oranges were on the earth before humans, okay, or we made them by cross-pollination or something, but if they were already here, then perhaps a red and a yellow fruit somehow crossed and made the orange. I don't know, right? How would that
I don't know.
happen?
I'm just saying that like way before like the creation of everything, you know, it's like the creation of the universe. It's like...
It's weird how we're even here.
What
sucks is that
we're just like a passenger in something that someone created. You know what I'm saying?
And such a small portion of that too. We're like a just tick in a million fucking billion years.
Yeah. Did the creator ever, like the person who created all these things, let's say we're discovering them and they created it. Were we part of the plan? You know what I'm saying? Were humans part of the reason why this all happened, or were we accidentally like appearing in this whole scheme of things?
I think chimpanzees are mixing colors and identifying that it changed color and stuff and putting a name on it, you know?
Or figuring out Euler's identity? I mean, it's like, what...
If all the animals on Earth, you know, if humans weren't here, but just every other animal was,
yeah,
then it would just be like it would be a way better place, man. There would be no pollution. There would be.
Well, maybe those animals, we're like getting a slice of their evolutionary path. Maybe chimpanzees will evolve to be as smart as us if we let them, or dolphins would evolve, like.
Maybe they are smarter. They're just not capable for some reason of taking over. They could, but we're not speaking their language.
Or we're just in their evolutionary path, like we're just taking a slice out of their path and we just happen to be in the more beginning of it,
I think beings are the disease, not the virus.
They're all evolving to a place where they get to our intelligence.
Well, if you look at all other, not all other animals, but a lot of them, they're real territorial, and they stick to a pack, for instance. So if you're a lion and you wander in the wrong territory where another pack has kind of claimed that area, then there's a fight to the death. And that's what's wrong with humans. We're the same way, but even though we're a lot smarter, we haven't been able to overcome that ability to get along with other people.
We haven't evolved to that point. We need to evolve past.
Never will. Here's why. Here's what happened. This world took on a small handful of people that are in control of everything. And regardless of whether or not they their beliefs are right or wrong or bad or good, they control everything, and you have no choice. So you're basically just following a board game that they created. Is all it is. Because you think just because you're a billionaire, you're any better person than some guy that's homeless. There's a good chance that you're way worse of a virus to this planet than they are.
Well, if you take all that out of it and just look at everything at its most basic. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Billionaire drives past a whole row of homeless people in California and says, these people are ruining the planet. Look, he just took a shit on the corner. At the very same time, this guy's 10 factories are spewing carbon shit into our planet, and he's the good guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, just because he has a fucking $1,000 pair of shoes on makes him a better person. Well, it turns out after a long time of people really not knowing what the fuck's going on, that it's all not true, that it's the other way around. Sometimes the most simple people are the better people for this planet, and the billionaires who put themselves on their own pedestal are really bad to be here.
Yeah, like the guy Euler who came up with this identity. I mean, he was no billionaire. It's like, well, his contribution to what we do is way more important than some billionaires.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
what a billionaire's doing right now is they're raping the planet for everything they can to get a dollar in their bank account and make it bigger, because their friend's boat is bigger than their boat. Even though their boat's $100 million, they want one that's $150 million.
They're pigs, man. I know they're all fucking asshole pigs. Trust me. I mean, what do you think, Jeff Bezos from Amazon? If they said, he's worth $200 billion now. Well, you know what? He pays his fucking employees in the warehouse $15 fucking an hour. Why doesn't he pay them $25 an hour so they could buy a house and buy a car and at least have a life that's decent?
He can't get that little better ship that he's trying to buy, a yacht.
Yeah. He's a leech of society is what he is.
Damn Skippy.
A leech of fucking society. Because you know what? Instead of making $50 billion a year, he could make $5 billion a year, which is plenty of fucking money, and pay all his employees a living wage.
But $5 billion don't put him in that group.
And here's what we do. We subsidize those $15 employees by having to give them like food stamps and shit. The government is subsidizing his employees so he can make a little extra money. It's like he's
I keep saying that those people are the cancer of our world.
Yeah.
And even a guy who's homeless and shitting on the corner perhaps because he has nowhere to shit or he would go to his own bathroom, that guy is way better for this planet.
I agree. I respect that person more than I respect the person.
Because one guy, I talked to this homeless guy one time where I was trying to just pick their brain on why they don't try any harder. You know, at least get the bare minimum would seem better than that life. And the guy literally said this to me: money? Fuck that. I don't want nothing to do with money.
Yeah.
He goes, there's nothing but sorrow involved with fucking money.
Do you know how much subsidies our government is? Listen, our government is subsidizing billionaires to become richer, and we're allowing it. There's things called fossil fuel subsidies. These multi-billionaire fucking oil companies get subsidies from our government to make more billions of dollars. It's like
and pollute our environment with it, and then they don't clean it up, and it's like we have to live with that. And they should pay us at least for that. Yeah. For fucking up the air.
We're subsidizing billionaires is what we're doing, and we shouldn't be.
We're making trillionaires is what we're doing.
Right. On the backs of regular people with subsidies from our government. It's like it's crazy. We shouldn't have to give food stamps to employees of multi-billion-dollar companies. We shouldn't have to. They should be taking their money that they're making and pay their employees a living wage so we don't have to fucking do that anymore.
I don't know what they were giving the generation before us, chemical-wise, to make them all just draw a blind eye to all of this shit that's going on. But you could explain this to someone that age, and they still can't. It's like it's races right out of their head, and they're like, the government wouldn't do that. They care about us. They don't give a fuck about you, man.
That's why I won't buy anything from Amazon.
You could drag in. And if you can't bring revenue in, they care about how they could take care of you so they could skim off the top of the people who are paying to take care of you. That's what they care about. They don't give a fuck if you die tomorrow. Why do you think they don't care that the cops have been killing people all this time? You're just one person they don't care about. You're such a small percentage, one person, of the big problem that exists that you're collateral damage. Let's just call it that. They invented collateral damage, and you're part of it.
Yeah, it's the problem. It comes down to these people being subsidized, and we have to stop it. It's stop buying. If you're buying something off Amazon, you're part of the problem. Don't do it anymore. Don't fucking. I've never bought anything off Amazon. I won't.
Somebody posted that every one of you have bought off Amazon, so you're all, and I didn't post back because he wouldn't have liked, the attitude that gave me. I have never bought a fucking thing off Amazon.
Me neither. I won't.
Now, I'm never going to change it because no one's ever going to fall into that. It's a matter of convenience. What they're doing is they're training you to not even know how to shop. I'm afraid to go to the store.
It's like you're part of the problem when you do it. When you're buying off that site,
10% of the people do not have to worry about the coronavirus. Only the old, elderly, and people with compromised systems or a genetic disposition from birth have to worry about it. And these people have existed forever, and so has that.
I don't care.
Well, they're using it as a game right now to shift everything. Look at this. Amazon probably doubled their profits since this shit. Because they shut out every little store on the planet. Why is it safe to go to Walmart around 200 people, but 3 people can't come into my hobby shop? People are so stupid. We should have marched out our doors day one and said, quarantine yourself, you motherfuckers. We need to march down to Washington, not Black Lives Matter, because all they do is loot, and they don't even make any sense. If they would have followed the right people and get some shit done, file a suit against the government or something of that nature, we need to march on down there, not loot any stores, walk into the fucking Capitol, pick all those people up, and toss them out the fucking door. That's what we need to do. And if that doesn't happen,
we won't.
It's going to keep happening year after year. And if you don't get rid of everyone in our government now and replace them with new people, granted, there's going to be corruption no matter what. But you're resetting it in a different frame, because all these new people are going to know they're being scrutinized, because we're going to start by scrutinizing them. But right now, if you're an elected official, you come into a system of people that are so dirty that they're going to let you do whatever you want, and you almost have to be part of the club. And you can't say nothing or do anything because all of them are so dirty. They're just going to eject you right out.
They need to have term limits for every single elected official. You should only be allowed so many terms so you don't get embedded into this process. Term limits are the only way. The only way to fix this is with term limits. It's the only way to fix it.
But that won't work unless everyone is replaced as of tomorrow with new people, because you still have all those old crooked people in there from years teaching the new guys the bad shit and how to get away with it. And they're all in bed together, and it'll just rolls over and over year after year, and those new guys that start tomorrow in 10 years from now will be those same corrupt politicians teaching the new ones to how to do it. They have to all be fired now, all of them. All of them. The whole fucking country. And who does Biden think he is, even running for president? We should be scared that that's their choice after all this time. There's no new people because they're not letting the honest people in. They're running out of time with these old fart dishonest politicians. You know what I'm saying? These old people right now, these old billionaires like Soros and all those people, they're out of time. They have to pull a major thing right now, or they're going to be flushed out. And I'm sure his son and the family don't want to get rid of their lavish lifestyle. And $15 an hour is a complete insult. It's like you slap me in the face with a glove and we're having a duel. 15 an hour. Okay, draw at 10 steps because I'm shooting you just for saying that. It needs to be at least $100,000 a year everyone needs to make. At least. Or lower the price of everything again, because it can't keep going the way it is now, right?
Yeah.
Here, check this out. Here's so much proof. People don't put the emphasis on what they really should. Black lives do matter. They have been suppressed purposely by our government for a long time. And at the same time, they've suppressed poor white people at the same rate. Maybe it's a little different fashion how they did it, but they did it to everybody. There's a few people, that have succeeded to the top. You know what I mean? I was just explaining to a friend of mine that one of my customers' fence cost $250,000, and in order to maintain a cedar fence like that, you have to almost have a person working on that thing daily, one person, to keep it up. Keep painting it, fixing broken boards. So you have a fence that big, a fancy fence, to keep it looking nice, you have to employ someone full time and spend $250,000. Some people can't even fathom. They couldn't afford the fence in this guy's yard. This particular person I'm talking about, he's not even close to the people we're talking about money-wise. He's like the one that brings them a drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's very small amount of people that live like this guy I'm talking about. So we're talking a class of people that literally look at us like nothing but parasites that are spewing out cash for them to continue their reign on this planet.
Yeah, it's an oligarchy is what it's called. It's not even a democracy. It's not socialism. It's like these people, all these Republicans are like, oh, you vote for Biden, you vote for socialism. Well, if you vote for Trump, you're voting for an oligarchy. It's like, and most of these people don't even know what a fucking oligarchy is.
Well, you have to figure this.
They fucking don't even understand what they're talking about. Most of these people open their big mouths and don't even understand what the shit even means.
Little by little, distribute some of it back that you give and act like they're helping you with your own money. That's crazy. It's like, we're going to give you this check. You didn't give me a fucking thing. You gave me a pea back out of a pallet full of peas I gave you. Fuck you. All right?
Yeah.
That's happening. They didn't give no one $1,200. They owe them way more than $1,200. Give me everyone their fucking money back, okay?
Yeah.
And then we could start talking about how you're going to get your ass off those chairs in the fucking Congress. Get the fuck out of here. We don't need you motherfuckers. And they're like, well, what about the rest of the whole world? How about we just flip them off too and tell them, fuck off. Fend for yourself for about 10 years and see who's fucking listening to who.
Here's something weird. Listen to this.
We don't need a war. We cut off the rest of the world for 10 years. They'll be begging us to help them. Fuck them people. All they want to do is rake us every way they can anyway. And we've been so nice. They act like America's a bunch of assholes. We have done nothing but bend over backwards for every country, and they flip us the fucking middle finger every chance they get. Well, we need to flip that finger back at them people and say, you know what? You wait and see when you can't even fucking find table salt because we've been providing you with everything. Fuck them too. And it's all sheer laziness. What, you know what happened? Unfortunately, there's good resources in this country, okay? And we've harvested them to the shit. And we need to stop giving them to the rest of the world. Fuck them. I don't know. Maybe they should have been a lot nicer to us, and we would welcome them. Right? We give you all this shit and keep you alive this whole time, and that's how you treat us? Like we're a bunch of assholes? Well, fuck you. What happened to the good old American 2 words of fuck you?
Listen to this. You know how they want to build windmills, right?
Right.
And they're supposed to be like carbon free, whatever, and so that's supposed to help the planet like from getting warm. Well, to me, your wind is moving along and it's got energy. Well, when you take and you spin a windmill, you're taking some energy out of the wind, basically. Because energy doesn't come from nothing. So then the wind is going to slow the wind down. It's like, and those winds are cooling the planet off. You know what I'm saying? And they're changing the weather. It's like, so granted, maybe the few windmills we have now are maybe not having a huge effect, but if you keep building windmill after fucking windmill after windmill, these winds are going to slow down because you're pulling energy out of that, and that energy has been blowing and cooling this planet off, and now all of a sudden you're fucking warming this planet up. That whole fucking system is fucking back asswards. I don't give a shit what anybody says. You can't take the energy out of the wind completely because that's going to fuck everything up. That energy doesn't come from nothing.
Planet is clicking with what you're saying because they know the size of ductwork and however many 90-degree or 45-degree angles in the ductwork make resistance and how much is it centimeters per minute your system's actually pushing. Yeah. And that's all factored in to the size of your house, how much size of the fan, the size of the ductwork. And believe it or not, you can't just throw some ductwork up and hook it to a furnace and have it work properly.
Right.
There's actually some math behind that.
Trust me.
Even though the HVAC guys look like they're stupid, they're not. They have to at least figure that much out.
I'm just saying that when it comes to wind, it's not an unlimited resource that you can just tap into and think you're going to take the energy from it. You're going to make the planet warmer because the winds are going to be less.
Eventually, you will stop the wind if you put enough obstruction.
You will. And let's say people are like, oh, well, the wind is so big. Well, yeah, but let's say you put windmills over in Pennsylvania, and that's where the wind's coming from, and it's blowing to Ohio, and then you put more in Ohio. Now you're taking a little more energy out of it. And by the time it gets all the way to fucking Colorado, that fucking wind is fucking dead. It's like you can only pull so much energy from these winds and it's not an unlimited resource. Right. There's no unlimited energy resource that you can tap into.
But if we put too many solar panels, would it get colder because we're absorbing too much sun that's intended to heat the planet?
I would think that's true. I think solar panels are fine. I don't think there's anything against that.
Why do they always shoot down solar panels, man, for everything?
Solar panels? Well, the problem is you can't store the energy, and there's no good battery source. Yeah, we haven't created a battery good enough. that would keep.
We need to hold the planet Earth still to keep the sun on the panels 24 hours.
Yeah. There has to be a way to do it. We're wasting a lot of the sun's energy just by letting it fucking sit, land on the planet for not, like down here in Florida, man, we should all have solar panels.
I know. You could solar heat your house so easy too during the day. Now you wouldn't want to do that in Florida, but there's a lot of places that it's so easy. It's cheap and super easy to make it's called an air heater basically, and it's basically trapping air in a black box with glass over it and blowing the hot air out.
Yeah.
And it's not as efficient as like a gas powered furnace, but it's like zero footprint. And it zero.
Yeah. Especially if you got a solar panel to power the fan.
Well, exactly. A solar powered fan is part of it.
Yeah.
If you have a solar power, well, the ideal system would be to make that, and then you're storing with additional panel, you're storing power in batteries to run a 12 volt, or you could even run 120 volt. It's going to burn more quicker, but if you run 12 batteries or 10 batteries in series, you could pull 120 volts. Now I don't know how long it would last, probably an hour at tops. But figure a deep cycle trolling motor. You run that thing all day long, and that battery's pretty much good for hours. So if you had 10 deep cycle batteries, you could run at least one little space heater for several hours.
Yeah, it's real. This windmill thing is not the big plan that they think it is. I mean, maybe on a smaller scale it is, but on a huge scale, it's just not going to work. It's going to make the planet warmer over time.
The problem is the population got so big, and there's so much need for stuff, like instantly, that it's become overwhelming. Is what happened.
Oh yeah, these countries like China and stuff, they never ate beef. You know how like we eat beef as a staple? Those countries never ate beef like that. They ate rice and fucking beans and bullshit. They never, and now that they're starting to see how we live, they want the same kind of luxuries that you can't, the whole world cannot live like America. Because if they all lived like we do here, this fucking planet would choke out in fucking 10 years. You know what I'm saying? You can't make an entire world of Americans. It's just not going to work.
We shouldn't allow anyone to come here because the million people we take a year, there's 18 more million created in poverty. So we're not even denting the problem, and it's billions of people that are in poverty. There's no way that we could ever fix that problem unless we fix where they live. And they're not willing to do that. So that tells me that they're going to come here and be lazy and fuck the rest of this place up the way they have that.
Yeah.
Because if they're so ambitious, why the fuck don't they make their own country better?
Yeah. Yeah. Take all that ambition and invest it in your own country.
Idea that this is a free country and everything's free. They misunderstood what they meant by free.
It's far from free, trust me. This country is far from free.
It's never been free.
Yeah.
And you know what? I agree that black lives do matter. I want to make this point. But the way they're going about trying to prove it, they're making a real bad example of why we should believe that.
Yeah.
Now, if you were out there mowing the lawn for some elderly person that can't afford it, or paying their taxes because they're going to lose their house, or painting a building that's been run down but they can't afford to paint, then I'd say, wow, you're contributing to this society, and that's awesome. But you're not setting a very good example, destroying shit and looting and all this violence. Yeah. That's showing a very good point of what matters. Because most people think that kind of shit don't matter. That shit don't matter at all. So, I don't know what to tell you with that shit.
Part of the problem is, when I was a kid, my dad told me, he said, listen, when the cops bust you, you just put your fucking hands up and you get arrested. Don't fucking... Most of these cases, if you look, the guy is fucking resisting arrest. He's running from the cop. He's trying to get in his car. He's trying to... All that shit happened. If he had just put his fucking hands up and shut up, he'd be fine. But and then go to court and whatever happens there happens. You know, it's just like, it's the same for everybody. If I do the same thing, if I'm getting arrested, even though I'm white, and I try to run back to my car and reach under my fucking seat, the fucking cop's gonna he's gonna shoot me. It don't matter what color I am.
And you wouldn't even have known and nothing would have happened. Every day would have went on the way it normally does. And a criminal would have been caught again, and we go on with life. But there's so many motherfuckers sitting at home videoing this shit, and they're pissed off. Why are you mad? You're home all fucking day for free. The fuck? I'd be whistling Dixie.
Don't resist. You're gonna resist cops. They're gonna shoot you. It's that simple. I'm not saying it's the right thing they should be doing. But it don't matter who you are, they're going to fucking do it to no matter who it is. Some white trash white dude with 5 tattoos, he goes and reaches in his fucking car, they're going to fucking shoot him.
The sad part is this. Here's the real sad part, okay? If that particular incident, I mean, the sad part is that the gentleman got killed. I mean, that's terrible. But you're right. It is his behavior that caused that. Now, are the police out of line by shooting him? Did they react too quick? Maybe they did. Who knows? Maybe not. But the bottom line is this. If all that fucking anarchy never existed in the first place, none of this, the cops wouldn't be there, and none of this shit would have happened. They forget about that whole fucking part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I stood on the roof of my fucking car right now and I started screaming some bullshit nonsense, the cops would come here and knock me down because they would think that I'm disturbed and and for the safety of the rest of the people here on this planet, because it's not my planet, they have to do that. Because what if I was to, let's just say this particular guy that they shot in the back pulled out a gun, the cops weren't there, and he starts shooting a bunch of people because the cops said, hey, dude, you're cool, man. You may be belligerent and talking shit and whatever, but I'm going to leave you alone. And they left. This guy pulls out a gun and starts fucking shooting everybody. They would say the cops are negligent for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't.
Exactly. So what they need to do is stop perpetrating such craziness that would even fucking bring the cops there, bro. You know what? If you talk to the cops normally, if they show up, no one's screaming, everything's cool, they'll fucking talk to you normal. But if they show up and you're tripping, I don't care what color you are. They come in with a different attitude. Like
I've had the cops called on me. Trust me. They've come to my house before, and the cop came, and the first thing I said is, yes, sir, no, sir, and everything's calm now. Everything's back to normal.
Yep.
Nothing's fucking gonna happen here. But you're right. If he'd have shown up and I'd have started a whole fucking big scene and started fucking...
And he got ready in case you're a fucking psycho. He don't know until he gets there.
He would have fucking thrown me down and beat the shit out of me. Trust me. This dude had a round fucking redneck cop hat on. This dude, you know, the tipped hats I'm talking about? He was fucking ready to go.
They say they get a call. He's cruising in his car. He gets a call. There's a domestic, you know, argument or whatever. So they show up at the incident. Well, on his way there, he's thinking back of all the incidents that he's been in. And a lot of them are shitbag arguments, you know, yelling at each other crap. But he's been in some where it was violent. So he has to approach this in that way where it could be that one. Well, when he shows up, you're running around your house, room to room, screaming shit. He's got to be ready for that shit. And and the crazier you get, the further out of his holster that gun's going to come. And if he shows up and you're tripping daisies running room to room, he's going to put his hand on his gun starting off. And then if you start reaching in a closet after he tells you to chill out and step back, he's going to blast you one.
Yeah.
Because he's going to, what would you do? What would you do?
Yeah.
Right? If you do this, if you reach in a closet like that after a cop told you to chill out, don't reach in there, you are a psychopath with a mental problem.
Yeah, that's in his mind. That's what he's going with.
You have a mental problem.
Yeah,
If you think different, you're wrong. Because people with mental problems don't know it. If a cop tells you to back up, you back up because he don't know better. And if you go reach for some shit, you are committing suicide and have a mental problem.
Yeah. You go reach for something and the cop can't see where you're reaching, you're pretty much can guarantee, I don't care what color you are going to probably get shot.
Yep.
I guarantee it. I don't care who you are. This is what they fucking do. And he's scared for his life. You know, he's just trying to go to work and make a fucking living and go home and see his kids and coach fucking Little League. He wants to get home.
If these people are marching down the street, think that they've been wronged, let me tell them this right now. Here's the situation at hand. And no one would agree with this, even any of these people marching. Do you think it's cool to shoot someone in the back for no reason? They would say no. Okay, cool. Well, if there were no police, you motherfuckers, every other one of you would be doing this to people. They're keeping you in check. The fuck, you're doing it now and there's cops. So fucking tell me we don't need cops. If there weren't cops, all these people marching down the street, when they got home tonight, their house would be fucking looted and robbed, everything gone. So they need to shut the fuck up and fucking go home, get a job, and fucking do whatever it is. And don't tell me
contribute to society.
You know what? If there's no jobs out there, maybe you need a better fucking education. You were fucking too lazy in school. I don't know what to tell you. I was lazy. I chose something that didn't require all the shit I learned in school. It required shit I learned out of school. And I spent 20 fucking years learning that shit. So if you didn't learn anything, it's your own goddamn fault.
Yeah.
It's called lazy. They made a word for it in the dictionary. Look it up. Lazy. You know how to spell lazy?
If you don't, look it up.
Right. Chances are, there's a bunch of people sitting at home with the same attitude, but they're so fat and lazy they couldn't even get up to protest. Those are the real lazy ones.
A lot of this shit has nothing to do with race, and they're making it race. It has to do with actions.
Right.
It has to do with actions that people are making, and they're making poor decisions when they should not be making them.
This particular guy that I'm working with now is a little older than me, and he knows nothing about my business. He's a cool guy, and the dude that hired me is giving him a chance. Okay, so I don't even care either way. I'm in there for hours. You want me to show him how to do this? I don't give a shit. Come in here 8 hours a day, and I'm out of here. There's no way this guy could have possibly gotten this job in a million years. He won the lottery. This guy's just real cool that hired him, and this guy was in a bind. Well, I drove him home, like from work or whatever, to the bank before, and I'm trying to explain to him that it's all about what's taught to you. And if you noticed, when this riot first happened, when the protest, all these individuals sat down and they lit their lighters, and it was more like a vigil, and every color got together and they weren't fighting. Back in the 60s, they all fought, blacks and whites. The cops came, beat everyone up with billy clubs. They looked like heroes and everyone went on. But nowadays, there wasn't that racial divide at this protest, so they made it.
Yeah.
They sent people out there to stir up some shit. Now, somehow, from the beginning of this to now, all these protesters lost track of why they were even fucking there in the first place. Because they were coerced into believing that it was a racial issue, okay? And it wasn't. Because there's just as many other people getting killed by the police for the same fucking reason as that dude did in the first place. And now me, being the conspiracy guy that you don't agree with, I've looked at this video. I think the whole fucking thing was a setup and fake. And you could tell me your own belief, and I still won't believe you after you tell me. So, I mean, why did the police,
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Why were they wearing police uniforms?
We got to get to the basis of this instead of the individual case.
It wasn't enough. Yeah, it wasn't enough. At first I believed the thing, okay? Then I looked into it better. I think the whole thing was set up just to get people mad at each other. And it's kind of funny how it turned into a huge racial thing where everyone's mad at each other, exactly why I think they did that. But that's just me. I'll just put it out there. But nevertheless, the bottom line is what's happening ain't right. So
no.
Unless you rectify that part, there's going to be a huge problem. Should we take down them statues? Fuck yeah, take them all down. Those people are the ones guilty of what created all this shit in the first place. They're the forefathers of racism. Get rid of all them statues and let's not talk about it. Tomorrow we take them all down, done. You know what we're going to put on top of that pedestal? Nothing. We're selling that property to a commercial entity, and the citizens are getting a refund on their taxes.
Yeah.
We're getting the money back for the schools, and we're getting the money where that park is for that fucking property.
We'll put a Starbucks there.
You don't even need a fucking park.
Just take the statue down and put a Starbucks there.
At one point in time, it was excellent that we had forest reserves and parks and all this shit that we could go to. But you know what? Amidst what's going on currently, we need to start putting some other shit on the fucking table and not worrying about forest reserves and all that shit. Let's sell that property and bank it. We're broke.
Well, I don't know. I think we should keep like our national forests and shit.
Well, I'm saying like we don't need to be putting sculptures at fucking courthouses anymore that cost $250,000 out by their pond.
Yeah.
Courthouse needs to be a couple trailers. Rude fucking split system.
Courthouse needs to be a Zoom meeting. You just fucking log in.
Doesn't need to be these marble and fucking mahogany structures that we've been building with all this fucking money. And even those structures that are being built today, it needs to be built by someone that has their own fucking pocketbook in mind when it's being built. Not this unlimited amount of money being spent to build this shit because it's not their money they're spending. And that's what's been going on long enough. That's the problem with America. Because if our government quit frivolously spending all this cash, they could pick these people up out of poverty and they could give them a better life or something to look forward to, invest that into future jobs instead of giving them all to China, open up some fucking factories and give people jobs at a prevailing wage, then they would change this shit around. But the only problem with that is then as we start to call out more and more of this stuff, eventually it's going to go rise all the way to the top, and these bastards are going to have to be held accountable for them raping people in this planet for fucking a long time.
Oh, we've been doing it. I mean, we shouldn't even be here. I mean, we took the land from people who already owned it. It's like we fucking none of this shit is ours in the first place.
The problem is there's so many huge entities out there that are all in one way or other guilty of fucking doing wrong. Likely with taking all the water in California in a place with a drought with no fucking with no word. They should have to reimburse each and every one of us a certain amount of money for taking our water. That's our water, not their water. Why do they get the water for free?
Why do they get to put it in fucking bottles?
They're telling you can't have a rain barrel. You could get arrested for it because it's not your water. Well, why the fuck get it? That's the problem. There's so many huge bigwigs that have their cash influencing our politicians to fucking push shit their way, and if you have anything to say about it, who the fuck are you? You're like an ant in an ant farm that they squish on the sidewalk.
It's all because of these committees and it's all because of political committees that are being bought by rich people. They don't even have to tell anybody that they're giving them the money anymore. And it went through the Supreme Court, and they won. Now these companies can give money to these political groups, and they don't even have to report it.
Why do you think this is happening?
It's bullshit.
Because billionaires gave fucking Clinton probably a bunch of cash to get shit done, and then when she lost, they're like, they want their money back. So now they gotta pull some kind of fucking thing to fucking come up with billions of dollars again. On your back is what they're doing. They don't give a fuck about you. And I'd be worried because Clinton was overseas cutting deals. The economy was great then, right? He had everybody snowballed because we were all living high on the hog while he was cutting deals with every country across the book. And now, fucking, we never played with those people before. And you notice how he had such a good relation with all them people. Right? How the fuck was that? And you know it. You know my grandpa wouldn't be happy if he knew that China made his fucking steak knife that he was using at the grill, or the tongs. He'd be tripping daisies.
Yeah, I mean, we're totally supporting a communist regime, and we don't even care. We used to hate communism. Now we support them with all our money.
Here's where it became a real problem, was because what stifled anything from happening, major war like our grandparents went to keep these motherfuckers out of our life, we just embraced them back in, and then we started buying all their cheap bullshit because, the 80s were great, and then all of a sudden, China became relying on us to purchase all their shit, so they couldn't overthrow America. Who would buy all their bullshit? Not fucking Bulgaria isn't keeping their businesses open. It's all us fucking greedy bastards in America. Well, now that this COVID thing happened, we haven't been buying shit. So now they're thinking, well, what do we got to lose now? Fuck. We ain't selling shit to them assholes anyway. Let's bomb them. That's about the position that put us in. Because if we quit buying shit from China now, they have no reason to fucking bomb us and fucking take us over. And per population, if you look at all these pussies on the street nowadays, back in the 60s when you saw protests, that was men. These are fucking boys out on the street. Bunch of pussies. You just step on them with their skateboards and shit. Their backs. They wouldn't make it 10 minutes in a fucking hand-on-hand combat with any fucking other country. Think about it like this. All these other countries know English, so they've been studying us a lot harder than you think. You see these girls 8 years old taking apart a Kalashnikov fucking AK-47 for breakfast, putting it back together 35 seconds. You're gonna be in big fucking trouble if they come here. Because you don't even know how to shoot a gun. They lived like our grandparents lived. Not with all this fancy technology. So our grandparents knew how to can food, and they had gardens, and they did a lot of hand labor. Nowadays, these young punks and their 20-year-olds, they're pissed off if their delivery of dinner didn't show up within 25 minutes.
Yeah.
My grandma went out and cut a head off a chicken and cleaned it and fucking cooked that thing.
They're pissed off when TikTok is going to go down. they're like ready. They're ready to start crying when TikTok is going to be taken away.
We talk about Bill Gates and this Facebook asshole and all these people. They were the destroyer of our country. The internet fucked our world up because it created so many crimes and deceptions and laziness and just straight up. What benefit has it been?
Yeah,
all it
nothing.
Speed up inevitable, the bad news that's coming in.
Yeah, it just speeds up the news.
Speeds up.
I don't even watch the news. It's all the same bullshit every day. It's not even worth watching.
We need to boycott Facebook, the entire world, for a month, and then when that motherfucker has to get a job at a car wash,
boycott sports. That's what I'm doing.
And that's happening, bro.
Trust me, I'm not watching a single fucking sporting event, baseball, basketball, the playoffs, none of that. Football, I'm done with it.
Their place.
It's time that we just ban all that shit.
I learned in Taekwondo, and I don't even know why I took Taekwondo, because I like to kick people, and I'm not very tall, so I figure if you come up to me, I'm kicking you in the face. So anyway, Taekwondo is Korean. My grandpa went to the Korean War. I don't even know who invented Taekwondo. I don't even give a shit. I'm glad he died before I told him I took Taekwondo. But what I did learn in that thing was you should help somebody. So in order to get my new belt, I had to donate my time. Of whatever cause. It didn't have to be even a real cause, which all the real causes aren't real. A real cause is one you come up with yourself and actually help somebody. But I used to help my neighbors, these elderly people, and I decided after a long time of helping younger people, fuck these young people. They don't deserve it. I haven't met few that need it. But these old people, you should get out and mow your neighbor's lawn. If you see an old lady mowing her own lawn, stop her and mow her lawn. Even if she doesn't let you, insist. Right? That's helping. Have you ever done that?
I'm not helping anybody right now. I'm so fucking lazy.
Old people. They're believing half of this shit. They're part of the problem. But, yeah, think about it. Here's what happened. They ran out of time. One day, all these officials sat down in a big room and they said, you know what I noticed when I was putting some Preparation H on and my arthritis cream on my shoulder and I was taking a pill? Nobody's buying pills anymore. And if we don't force a vaccine on people, then we're going to lose all that revenue that we're getting from these pharmaceutical companies overnight. We're losing it.
Yeah. Well, we gotta end this on a positive note.
Even if
let's come up with something positive. Name one positive thing.
Nobody wants it.
Name one positive thing right now.
Here's the positive thing.
Let's hear it.
Here's my belief that after this next election, people need to really take the next 4 years and study how the whole system works. And let's come up with a way to hit the reset button, all of us together at the same time. But as long as they create divide, they will be able to control us. But as long as we're all together, they can't do a damn thing but pack their desk and start stepping. And that's the bright future.
Yeah.
If a politician tells you, we got this, say, you've had this long enough. We're taking over.
Yeah.
We don't see anything good. Every year it's worse and worse. You got this still? We don't want you to have it. Look what you've done with it.
You did a terrible job with it.
Here's the trade. We walk in there and we tell them all, guess what? Get a job. And none of you qualify for food stamps. So you better start getting ready to eat tomato soup made out of ketchup like we've been doing.
All right, I gotta go.
All right. Here's the thing. Eat 2 apples.
Eat 2 apples and a banana.
Rich people robbed our soil of nutrition. And now we have to eat apples. And
when you eat the banana, break it off and put it in your mouth in pieces. It looks a lot better.
Got a way to get us to buy nowadays.
Don't just stick the banana in your mouth.
Hey, and besides,
that looks slutty.
All the wax off your apple too. Try to take a flat blade and see how much wax comes off your apple that you've been eating this whole time. It's probably full of all kinds of shit during the packing process.
I gotta do the dishes.
Goodbye.
Bye.